Welcome to Radio Agora. Tonight, a little bit different of a show. I'm joined tonight by Dylan, lurking in the shadows. A little bit of a Halloween mode. Halloween. It's gonna play through twice. That's great. That worked perfectly. Okay. Well, what I wanted to talk about tonight, the idea that abolition is prohibition. What? Yeah. Abolition is prohibition. It's just not an end. Now, Mr. Masked Man, alright. A little bit spooky. So how are you going to...
What do you mean abolition is prohibition?
How do you break the chains of anarchy?
Right, wait. You want to break the chains of anarchy? There aren't any chains in anarchy.
How many people have you talked to?
Many.
Well, I get this idea that a lot of us are locked into the idea of anarchy. Locked. Stuck. Stuck. There's a ceiling. There's a limit. Do we really want to change things, or do we want to continue being enslaved to our own ideals?
Slave? How can I be a slave to my own ideal?
Are you sure your ideal is really what it, how you see it? Is it just a shadow cast on the wall? Is that all you know? Have you ever seen the outside? Have you ever been in the light?
What's the outside statism?
No, yourself.
Oh. So you're saying that I am outside of myself because I am locked in the so-called chains of anarchy?
You are locked within yourself by the chains of anarchy, by the idea of self-ownership.
Is it like being arrogant?
No,
Am I too caught up in myself because of anarchy? Have I allowed anarchy to do that to me?
not at all. Actually, you've used it to proportional uh, legitimacy, because it speaks as your progression through anarchy has been profound, and it wouldn't be without that chain, it would not be broken. So the trajectory, the path you're on, is not independent of that. It's an idea, but that's the power of the idea and what you can do with it. Whereas everybody else, they could change anarchy with any idea and have the exact same number of followers. They would just be a different group, different subtype. That would not be the case with you or myself. It would just not be. So I want to. That's what this is. This is an expansion. A different style. A different mode, a different show. Ce n'est pas TV. It's not TV. It's not your televised revolution. No, the revolution is not televised.
Well, that's an old cliche.
Your pacification is televised. And I don't mean sports. Sports are great. I love sports. No, I don't. But they are useful as a, how do I say it? Parable, or a kind of motif that you can speak to a very wide audience. Many people understand how they think games should be played. Don't you think?
Mm.
So, and I see so many rail against it. I don't watch sports ball. That's good. I don't either. But I understand. Even so many people must understand. Have they ever played games growing up? Like, what was I wonder what people's childhoods were like.
Well, they probably played sports as children, but they think some of them think that professional sports is status because it's like the Rome, the Colosseum.
Right, and that's how we treat them. I mean, how many? You don't have a whole bunch of old athletes that are in good working condition. They run themselves into the ground for the sport, right?
For the sport, of course, and the money, and the drive, the adrenaline rush.
Right. And you never want to put it down.
Never.
Once you have a taste of it, it's everything.
Mm. Indeed. Adrenaline.
But if you look around, in the general population around your neighborhood, most people don't even think on the level of anarchy or not, or even care or have a concept of the elections. You realize that, yeah, the majority, yeah, most people don't even, they just want to be left alone. But we don't speak to them because, as anarchists, we just sound ludicrous. Because we don't have the same language, we don't speak the same things, we don't use the same time. We have remnants of it, and we become familiar. We can find similar, but that's just like one or two or three. It's not. It's not changing anything. It's not accelerating anarchies. I think part of that problem is self-ownership.
Self-ownership's a problem?
Right, because you've already relegated your body to
What's that
property.
supposed to?
To property.
Yeah, your body, your property.
Your body's not property, though. It's something greater.
What's greater than that? Trying to say I can just kill someone because it's not their property?
No, I'm just saying it's not usually worth it.
Very well.
It doesn't make friends. It doesn't make people happy. It doesn't. I suppose some murders would be, or some killings. That depends how you want to define it.
Murder, death, kill.
Murder, death, kill. There you go. Just remind me to stay clear of the seashells. That's a good movie. Is that really what you think the future would be like that?
No. I think the future is in our hands.
Oh yeah, the future is actually in your mind. It's what you aim for, hope for. We have full control over it. But we focus we focus on the elections, politics in general, what's going on, all the conflicts thousands of miles away. And we debate ourselves over something completely subjective all the time. Aha taba. This is what we are. It's a waste. This is why I choose to resist everything. I always question, including myself, including Dylan. Actually, everybody. See?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that I like to stir things up.
Yeah, I as well.
That has nothing to do with anarchy, actually. It's the opposite. It's the opposite of anarchy. It's not the, actually, maybe the inverse. Function. Spontaneous order. Smashing things together just to see how they fall back together. Do they? Or are they lost? I do this with ideas. Or try to, anyway.
Ideas, beliefs.
You know, no one has an idea of their own. What thought do you have that you haven't thought of before?
What about the first time I thought about it?
Was it really the first time?
At some point, yeah. Objectively so.
Subjectively so.
Objectively so.
How do you prove it?
Because it's the first time I thought of it.
That works for you. It doesn't work for the audience.
Doesn't matter what the audience thinks. It's not their thought, it's mine. Their thoughts are their own as well. Essentially, it's the only thing you can own is your thoughts.
I beg to differ.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Stewardship, not ownership. Yeah, you're stewards of the body. Stewards of the body. That's interesting. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Interesting. But now, stewards, then no one's still responsible, so there's no one actually. It's more of a conscious choice to take it on. I'm unfamiliar, but it is interesting. What do you think of? Yeah. Stewardship. Over ownership.
How can I be a steward of my own body? Unless you subscribe that you are not born, nor do you die. You are simply a collective molecule, atoms, various things that have come together into this one form, this physical form that is allowed and given birth to the intellectual being.
Right. It's an extension. It's part of the fractal of the universe, iterating into the tiniest details, and now it has become so finely tuned that it can witness itself. That is what we are.
What does that other guy think about it?
Mr. Yeti, he doesn't think.
So he doesn't have an intellectual being. He's simply a physical form.
Correct. Capable of.
How can you objectively prove so?
You just have to ask him.
Mr. Yeti, show us a sign. Show us that you have life. Or maybe he just doesn't understand my language.
Perhaps he hears nothing at all.
Look at Satan's rod.
We can get rid of him now. Well, there
Goodbye,
we
Mr.
go. So, so if that's the case, then even though he doesn't speak, we can.
Well, you said he. You said he. You're
He.
defining him.
I am. That's wrong. Mr. Yeti.
He may not speak, but how do we know? Well, even Mr.
Oh yeah,
is a different.
I thought I said Mr. Yeti.
He did. You're defining him. Even speaking does not mean that he is not is. It doesn't mean that it does not think. I am because I think I am. He may think he is. So is he?
If he thinks.
How do we know?
Well, I think he does. So is that all it
What about
takes?
that little girl?
What little girl?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Maybe only certain intellectuals can experience.
I would say so.
Other intellectuals.
That's true.
I asked about the little girl.
So the little girl probably
Other
has some. Probably just wants to speak.
She looks bad.
That's usually when I speak the most. It's interesting. The non-existence of time, the persistence of ideas. It's something we take for granted daily. With the sunrise and the alarms going off and our everything. It's just it. We're so connected that really we're just chained down. So I say break the chains of abolition. Free yourself from a destination. And simply live the way you feel you ought to. I really don't think it would be that bad. I have faith in mankind to figure it out.
I have no faith in mankind.
Well, even better.
I do believe mankind has proven time and time again it deserves no life.
Alright, no one necessarily deserves.
Objectively so.
Alright.
Mankind has done nothing but kill itself off.
Well,
Luckily, mankind likes to fuck a lot.
right, that's...
Could you imagine if no one had sex for 7 days?
That would be, yeah. Well, actually, that's all I used to do. Basically have
That's just you, though.
binges.
Talking about an entire race
Entire race of humans. Of humans? Or.
of humans.
Hmm. So,
It also depends on if you believe in a creator or createes.
well, I know my creator. It's my parents. Literally.
Your parents merely provided a channel for you to travel through.
I hear that a lot. And that might be right. That might be right. I think so. Sure. You just convinced me.
It had that effect on people.
Yeah. That's the good thing. That's the good thing of challenging, pushing boundaries, right? All sorts of them. Usually simple as an idea. But it can be quite troubling. It can be quite a bother.
It is. It's just why most people don't think about it.
Which is why there's so much darkness outside.
This is true.
They keep their light inside. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Fuck your light.
Right? Yeah, fuck it. That's funny. But,
That's subjective.
yeah, we probably have no viewers.
That's not the point. The point is not who is watching. The point is who's experiencing.
Right? Yeah, I do this more for me anyway.
Yeah, because you're selfish. Like all man.
Right? But, I want to gear it towards being useful. It's a circle, but at the last step, it's one step outside. Nice and gradual. That way, it's never too aggressive or jarring. Weird enough to catch your attention, but paced. I had no idea where this was going, so. What the hell?
What's going on?
I have no idea. Did you light your house on fire?
My house has always been on fire so long as I lay my head in it.
That's true. See, you cannot escape the fires of cleansing if you are the flame. It's a fact. But do you get burned?
No,
Flame doesn't burn itself.
indeed.
Yeah. Well, do you have any last words?
That's words. What am I going to die?
No. I'm thinking about the next episode already. The next step, the next stage, moving forward. Stepping outside. For Radio Agora, it's probably going to be more of the same. Just something completely different. Maybe just having fun. Being weird. Doing something in a new context that doesn't scream anarchy, but it whispers it. Yeah, anarchy. But to free, it's anarchy, but the hierarchy of your mind. Step outside the box. There is no box. There's only the box you define. So let it go. It's worth a shot. But that's all I have for tonight. Dylan?
Do remember, you don't have much time, we'll call it, for convenience, to be aware. Don't waste it away with your dichotomy, your this or that, is or am. You're wasting your experiences. You're wasting your awareness and everyone else's, and thus necessarily restricting others from becoming aware of the same thing.
Right.
Because no one wants to talk to someone who is all about this or that.
Right. Yeah. So then no anarchy. I was talking with Paul. He's commented, a great reminder. Autonomy. Power. Options. Giving people the tools in a digestible package. Unless this isn't digestible, then, well.
Just
I hope so. I think it's quite fun. I mean, maybe just for Halloween. Weird, I've been calling it. Kind of make it my own.
precisely.
Without owning it.
You're homesteading it.
Right. Occupying the idea for a brief time. It's at least honest. But
Indeed.
I think this is a good place to say good night. And thank you for watching. This has been Strange in the Agora. Maybe we'll do this again real soon. We have we have more in store. But for tonight, we'll keep it short.
We're here.
Yeah.
I must go.